Okay, Rick Steel Customs coming at you from my place of work, my own backyard. Anyway, I've got the fender stuck on, and as you can see, there's a slight issue with the gap, and I knew this was going to happen. I had the same issue over here. This gap was almost non-existent, so I took my pry bar and shoved the hood over because the hinge got bent. I don't care about the fender because I have another one. I'm replacing it, so hence the damage, and the hood is getting replaced. But that still leaves me with an issue of a really wide gap on this side. I can't push the hood over anymore because then that gap, which is currently perfect, would no longer be perfect. So what happened was, and I'll show you right now. This car got hit right in the headlight. Now, some of this is natural. It should be here, this little indentation. But I don't think it should be to that extent. And you can see this hole right here. How it has this bend. That bend should not be there. This bend should not be there. This whole bend should not be there. So what happened now is when the headlight got hit, it bent this section over, shoved it over this way. And that caused a nice gap right here. So what I'm going to have to do is go back to the junkyard and cut me a section right here. I'll probably cut it right along here. And you can see this is also damaged. This is just cosmetic, it's not important. But since I'm going to take this entire structure from a donor car in the junkyard, I may as well get rid of that as well. So I'll cut it right about here, and then I'll graft it onto this section and to this section. And that will fix the height issue that I'm having. You can see right here, there's a good ½ inch of clearance. There should be 0 clearance. So when I remove this, my bet is this portion here is going to spring back up, which will be good. But then, if you look through here, you should be seeing that hole. Not the one I'm covering, but this one right here. That's a bolt hole. There. Now you can see just how far off it is. This bolt is supposed to go through that hole. Everything else looks good. This whole structure here looks good. In fact, I might just take a little bit more. I might cut this piece right here. And then I got some spot welds right here, here, and here, and on the back side. So I'll drill out those spot welds at the junkyard. And this dent here, I'm not sure that's supposed to be there. Probably not. But in any case, I have to make this section line up with that hole to this nut right here. So it's a bit more work than I was originally thinking, but it is still a pretty easy fix, at least for me. But it's still going to take me a good 4 or 5 hours to replace this, to cut the one off from the junkyard. So if I was charging somebody for this, it would probably be in the range of $750. So if you're going to be buying a car like this from the Copart Auto Salvage or IAA, you have to consider the unknown. When I bought the car, I figured that this was probably going to be the case with this car. But I'm prepared to do it, and I will do it. Now also, when I put the new hood on, a lot of this gap is going to disappear. You can see this is almost perfect right there. Almost. It's probably maybe a 1/16 of an inch too large of a gap. But right here, the edge is nice and flush. But the way it's folded down, that's also going to cause the illusion of a bigger gap than it actually is. In fact, let me put the hood on and we'll take a look. Okay, the new hood is on, and you can see the gap does not look quite as bad. But you can also see there's quite a bit of height difference. The reason for that height difference, it's got nothing to do with the hood or the fender. The fender is actually where the height should be. Again, the problem is in this structure here, it is at least 1/2 inch too low. So again, once I cut this piece off, this should spring back up to where it's supposed to be. And if it doesn't, it's a super simple fix. If you have one of those scissor jacks, which I have plenty, just set it right here on top of the frame rail and up against the bottom of this, and then just give it a few turns until it contacts the fender. And you can leave that jack in place while you install the donor part. So, pretty simple, easy fix. It's just time consuming. And of course you have to have a welder. No welder, no fix. But yep, I'm off to the junkyard. Anyway, if you want to go with me, I'll take you. In the video, anyway. So that's going to conclude this portion of the video. This is part 2. If you're interested in this rebuild, you want to see part 1, I will have a link in this video. And I will later come back, re-edit the video, and put a link for part 3. Anyway, if you got anything out of this, I'd certainly appreciate a subscription. Hit the bell icon. That'll show you when part 3 is coming out. And do me the solid of giving me a thumbs up. Yeah, you can see how that is knocked over. And looks like the bumper reinforcement got a little tweaked also. Not much, so I'll probably just not worry about it. But then I think I can get that piece for like 15, 20 bucks. So maybe I'll change it too. I don't know. I got too much in this car already. I'm probably right around 2,200 in this car. Is it worth it? Leave me a comment. Let me know if a 2007 Honda four-door sedan Accord with 117,000 miles is worth what I've got in it. And then you gotta figure the paint. I bought paint for my Camaro, and it was almost 500 bucks. But I bought enough to do the whole car, even though I'm probably just going to do the fender. Hopefully they did a good enough job on replicating the color. I gave them the body code, so they gave me the part number. But then again, I might just paint this whole door because of that chip, that little ding. And I have to repaint this bumper cover because they used base coat clear coat, and this is why I really hate base coat clear coat. I virtually never use, especially on a solid. If I'm doing a solid color, I will not use base coat clear coat. I will use single stage acrylic enamel, preferably DuPont Centauri. Because look at this. It just comes off. Here, look at that. So, and I got some chips on the door, and I got some clear coat painting. So yeah, I'm gonna wind up painting this entire driver's side, the rear bumper cover, and I would do the whole car, but then I got to deal with the stripes, and the rest of the paint looks really good. The only reason it's coming off on this side is because this car was in a prior accident. They replaced the entire quarter panel on this side. Oh, and by the way, there is no Carfax report incident for a collision on the driver's upside quarter panel. So don't trust Carfax. You know, if you're worried about buying a car with a salvage title, this one could have a clean title, and you wouldn't even know. I know because professional. I've done body and paint since I was 17 when I painted my first car. 56 years old now. I've painted hundreds of cars. But yeah, stay away from base coat, clear coat, unless you're doing metallics. That's the only time I'll use it. But anyway, guys, Rick Steele Customs out. Have a great one.